What's up? Let's see if you can hear me. Who's up in here? All right. Let me know how the audio sounds before I get started, and or after I get started, whatever. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. And today, want to say hello to you guys, and I will be working on more Bishop. I just had this Rick and Morty on here because this is what I'm working on for fun in my spare time. Did a Keyshot render with some lighting. Hey, Joanne. Sounds good? All right, awesome. Okay, so let's go. I'm not going to waste any time today. I do want to tell you guys that this is the last week to register for my 8-week course with Ryan over at formerly ZBrush Workshops and UArtsy, now Artist Awake. So I'll put a link in the chat, and if you guys are interested in the process, seeing more of it, getting live interaction, critiques, finding out about how to get clients in your portfolio together, do this stuff for a living, hit me up. Okay. Shan, what's up? And Hennepet, yo, what's going on? All right, so I'm going to start off where I left off, and let's get the Pure Ref over here. Again, I am loving this Pure Ref. I know I'm late to the party, you guys, but I'm a Mac head, and as such, I was using another application for my reference, and this is just dope. You know, I'm converted right now. All right, so let's bring this guy over here. It's interesting. I'm using so many different things. I forget the key commands for something like ZBrush, which I use all the time. All right, so let's get him here. And I got to tell you, I'm being swayed. I was talking to a whole bunch of people on Instagram and whatnot, and they got me really thinking that I got to do a version with the dreads. Totally got to do a version with the dreads. So many awesome options. So maybe I have the Rick James, I have the Bob Marley, and I have the Baldy Locks. What do you say? Yeah. Hey Mike, you're probably painting under the bishop's skin. Reminds me of Predator thermal vision. Yeah, exactly. Sure. Totally my idea to do it. Predator vision. No, not really. But I love Predator, so nerds unite. Speaking of which, has anybody seen any of the new Netflix stuff? What's the name of that one show? I just saw the new show where it's like Blade Runner, but a really good Blade Runner, and then also the new Cloverfield, which was pretty good. I want more monsters, you know what I'm saying? But we get what we get. Maybe in the 4th movie we'll get some more of the monsters. But okay. So let's pick it up. I think today what I'm gonna do is let's get this costume under control. Right now I have these crazy colors, which look even brighter than the toys. I was looking at the toys, and it's pretty embarrassing. So I like a lot of the cut lines and hard surface details from the movie, even though, on the other characters, not so much Bishop, but I do like his concept art. That's pretty fresh. So I'm going to be picking and choosing from a whole lot of different things and kind of borging it all together in mine. So let's start with this. This was like the inspiration for the whole piece. I love this artwork. So I'm going to select close, get rid of everything else. Let's start by figuring out my blue, because this blue right now is ridiculous. Luckily I have everything poly grouped, so I can hide the, I can mask the skin. Probably want to go down to the lowest sub D levels. Let's do it on everything. Let's turn on everything and go all low. All low. All right. Go back to solo. Let's hide the arms. You gonna hide from me there, homie? No? What's up? Oh, pressing the wrong button. That's my bad. Flipping back between a Mac and a PC is not, that's not helpful. I'm mixing up my alt with my, option. All right, so here's this suit. Let's make everything a better blue. I'm thinking darker, less saturated. Maybe let's go high again, because it's hard to tell what the heck is going on. All right, and go to RGB, and let's fill it. Keep doing the same thing with Pure Ref though. I always have it in the worst place. Can't see my drop downs. Let's move this over. Pro, what's up? Mark, Dreads, Dead Cool, definitely. Ultra Carbon, yes, that was so cool, man. I like that a lot. And I believe that was a dude from the new RoboCop, our latest RoboCop. So he redeemed himself. I mean, not that he wasn't great in RoboCop, but you know, he's no Peter Weller. Let's put it like that. All right, you stay on top. Come on, man. It's supposed to stay on top. It's not staying on top. Okay, that's better already. But I do need my ref. Let's bring it over here. Maybe if I bring my color down, I won't have to worry about the drop down. Let's grab that and move it. There you go. In fact, I wouldn't mind if this was a little more gray. Maybe a little bit lighter. Yeah. Oh, I just did it again. Color fill. Not that light. Alright, so let's start with this. And I want to get this stripe down because that's... Actually, you know what? Nope, sorry. Let's define his muscles first, and then I can paint the stripe last. Thanks for joining me, you guys, by the way. I'm glad to have you here again. If this is your first time, my name is Mike Thompson, and I like to sculpt and paint stuff. I'm just setting up my brush, and I'm going to start detailing this a little bit. Any particular reason why I'm not? Okay, it's there. It's just dark. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'll fill it with a lighter color first, and then paint my shadows, and then if I want it darker, I can just add some light opacity darks on top. If you missed my stream with how I painted the face and the arm. You can check it out on the on YouTube on Pixelogic's page. This is not going to be done that way because I don't have to worry about having multiple colors underneath of my skin, because it's not skin. And all I'm doing now is just kind of hitting these shadows just so they pop even more, the creases. Alright, definitely going to turn off my lazy snap because I don't need that. And the way that I'm painting this guy is pretty much the same thing I would do with the a 3D print or a resin statue, which is just kind of put in the base tone, hit the shadows, then hit the highlights, and then put a unifying color on top with lower opacity. You know how we do. I think for that stripe, maybe the best idea too is to extrude some polys on top so it's super clean, and then I can also get a get some edge loops and maybe make it have some dimension. I kind of do that for everything I do. Sculpt rather. Let's move this light. Make it a little easier to see. And turn down the opacity. Let's get rid of the alpha. And then I can start blending this stuff together. Make it not quite so harsh. Looks like when I turn everything on here. Hey, no skin. Also, gun is all up in the way. I can't see anything. Let's turn off some of this stuff. Don't need the gun. Don't need the hands. Where are my hands? Where are my hands at? There they are. Okay, let's get rid of the creepy eyeballs. That's better. And no hair. Facial hair. Turn those off. Alright. That's looking better. Floating eyes. Something about floating eyes, just a little off-putting to me, anyway. check the chat. Yeah, Ariel Olivetti, definitely awesome. In fact, I bought on Comixology, I picked up the series where Bishop loses his arm. I want to do a version of him that looks like that too. He has the big robot arm. But I haven't read too deep into it. Not sure why he and Cable are beefing yet, but maybe it has something to do with the technovirus. It's real nerd talk right here, by the way. If you don't know what the technovirus is, just saying, don't even come around, man. It's like that should be common knowledge. I'm kidding. All right. So let's really set those deep shadows in now. Dark color. Let's turn back on the alpha. Maybe turn up the intensity. And I'm just repeating the stroke. That way I don't have to worry about lining up where my stylus was a second ago. Doesn't matter how deep you get those cuts on the sculpt. I mean, for me, it just really doesn't jump off until you start adding some color to those recessed areas. Better. And really, I'm not even done with the sculpting on this. I have like wrinkles to put in, and you know, in the costume. Normally, just full disclosure, I would never paint at this point of the sculpt. I just would probably obsess over it for quite a bit longer. And one of the issues I ran into last week when I was sculpting is I realized that I didn't even have texture on his this arm over here on our right hand side, his left arm. So the right arm it's got all this nice, you know, skin details and imperfections, and then the left arm is like baby smooth, which is probably not the way he's going to look after scrapping with so many sentinels. Alright, let's soften that out a bit. And you're going to see me eyedropper colors right off of the sculpt itself. Always good to move the light around, especially with this skin shader. I'm going to get something with a little less of a speck because it's hard to see what's happening. Is that the basic material? Maybe I filled it already. I think I filled it. Flat color. Yep, I did. All right, so I'm going to bring everything back. And just fill it with this flat color. Oh, you know what? I must have had material selected earlier. Just fill it with the flat color. Oh no. Nope, sorry. Material is what I want. Fill. There you go. All right. This is good because you can see that it's nowhere near as good as I thought it looked. So it's good to catch all your mistakes with the flat color from time to time. And now obviously anything I put in here, I'm going to be able to see it better. So that's too dark. Let's go with skin shade. No, let's try ZBrush paint. Okay, it's all right. What do we have over here? Bishop versus Black Panther. Well, we gotta have that black on black crime, yo. No Bishop versus Black Panther. Barely get through the Messiah complex. And gave it. Wow, that's hardcore, pro. All right, well I haven't read it yet, so see if I feel the way you do. Why do you paint shadows? Shouldn't it be defined by the lights? It definitely will be defined by the lights, but also when you add the color and you paint the shadows in, it just pops that much harder. So I did that with another piece I did. Let's see if I can find this Carnage. Anywhere, anyone? No, desktop. Titled. I'm gonna find this. Okay. All right, that's the old one. Where's the new one? Is that the old one? That's the old one. Where's the new one, man? It would be much better if I named these things and saved them in a place where I could find them. Is this it? Nope. All right, sorry you guys. I'm gonna find this because now I'm on a mission. Okay, here's the one. Yeah, cool. So that's what I did on this guy. All of the striations are painted as well as sculpted, and when I just filled it with red and did a Keyshot render, nowhere near as nice as this. So also when you start to add materials that have subsurface properties, it's going to help because it's going to flatten out the AO type of an area, and having the color in there is going to help to put it back. So anyway, that's it. Hey, what's up, Kyle? How are you making those cuts on the body? Cuts on the body? I mean the brush to use to make the cuts on the body. You talking about the Zenith Shadow? You talking about the muscles? Because that's nothing but the damn standard, and then to cut down, and then adding back the forms with the clay spin, the high areas. Dude, use ZBrush to draw 2D. Why? I know people who would pay for that statue. Oh no, it's look, man. This is the thing I do. I'm going to print this as a statue, and I'm going to also create a 2D illustration. That's kind of why I sculpt and paint, because I'm a painter first and foremost, but I'm also like a giant statue head. I don't know if you see this. This is like a small portion of what I have. So now I have the option, right? I can, and I have friends who have 3D printers, and I would love to see this thing as a print. So don't get me wrong on that. Let's see. That's Hannibal. Mike, why do you paint? I already said that. There are people who pay for the illustrations. Oh my God, that's dope. Thanks, man. What is your screen res? This is the monitor size is 3840 by 2160. Toxosaurus, what's up? Mike, is this the footage you were seeing? This up pose something I can look back at? Yeah, no worries. What do you, the footage of you setting up the pose? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, of posing this guy? If so, no, I did that before I became a streamer. Sorry, man, but I'll be doing more stuff. And actually, I'm telling you, the course that I'm getting ready to start this weekend is the entire process, like start to finish, concept art, to the sculpting the figure, to doing the paint over, and so if you're interested in seeing the whole thing, that's where you can check out artistawake.io. I will be plugging shamelessly this episode because it's like the last week, man. I got to do my thing here. I love Pixelogic and enjoy doing the streams, but I also enjoy eating food. So I will be going out of my way to, you know what I just did? I did materials. I'm sorry about that. Don't do this. I did this last time. Always check to make sure that you have RGB and not material selected, or you will be painting with your material and then you have like spots. Turn off that. Let's make the brush size bigger. Let's turn down the opacity. Oh, I got 100, no wonder. That's not what I want. Yeah, so Altered Carbon was dope. What did you guys think of Cloverfield Paradox? I'm like a giant fan of the first movie, and I like seeing how they're tying all these things to one universe. Some of the stuff didn't make any sense to me, but it's all good. It's like, how are you not going to show the monster though, man? Like, I want to see some monsters in my monster movies. So yeah, like if you look at his back, this is why I paint shadows. This is what it looks like with nothing. And then that's what it looks like when you start defining those shadow areas. Much better, I think. intensity on brush size. Let's turn that up. Yeah, so as I was collecting statues, I used to get the Bowden statues, and I have a couple sideshows and a lot of Hot Toy stuff. And I would just notice that some guys would only paint in like say the blue of this costume, and then other guys would go in and either dry brush or airbrush in the areas that, you know, are like deep set, and it always just looked way better to me when they did that. Takes it from looking like a toy to like a real thing. I don't know what happened to his knee here. That's not good. Let me smooth that out real quick. What's the intensity? Turn that up. Size. Turn that up. Down in the. Just jump down in the subdivision levels because this thing is so high now. It's way easier to smooth it out if it's lower. All right. Now let's throw in some oh God, I can't talk, you guys. Some airbrush, like some spray. Get a spray pattern here, and turn off the lazy mouse. Good way to tie these colors together is hitting it with this stippled pattern and with the brush. Kind of unify everything. And again, a lot of these techniques that I'm using are things I would use as, like, I started as a airbrush artist back in the day, like doing t-shirts and jeans and stuff. I know I just dated the hell out of myself, but that was kind of where I learned how to paint. And then I got into acrylics on cold press board, and just started, you know, painting from there until way down the line I got into digital. So having the foundation of painting with different mediums is, I think it definitely helps with, you know, with poly painting and 2D and 3D, really. All right, so just back up. Let's take a look. Screenshot it. Yeah, look at that. Come on. Come on, you guys. Gotta paint this stuff. Alright, but I don't like the spray as much as I did just painting it with the regular brush. Doesn't seem to be blending the way I want it. I want to reserve those dark areas for only the recesses, or else it starts to look cartoony or like a bad paint job. Okay, let's get rid of that one. See if there's anything in chat. I haven't watched the Cloverfield series yet. Hey, thanks Hannibal. The class starts on Saturday, and it's 8 weeks. Just go to, I'll type it in the chat again. All the info is on there as far as the live class and the recorded class, but go to artistawake.io. And if you want to learn more about what's going to be in there, I did an interview last week with Ryan Kingsling, and that's on Facebook on Artist.io. I'm super excited because I'm the first artist that is going to be on his new channel. He's switching from ZBrush workshops and UArtsy. So, very honored to be a part of this. Just got a little darker here. Turn up the intensity. That looks like it's skipping to me. Let's see something. Flat color. Yeah, what's going on here? I don't like that. That looks like an airbrush when you don't have your air pressure right. Why is it doing that? Maybe the angle? Just do dots. It's a little bit better. Oh, I turned off Lazy Mouse. There you go. For some reason with Lazy Mouse on, it tends to do a better job. Yeah, look at that. That's much better. Yeah. Anything else going on? Let's see. Is the class tutorials are interactive. There's a live class which begins Saturday, and it's every Saturday for 8 weeks. That is live. You talk to me, I talk to you. It's interactive, and there is a recorded version of that, which is less expensive, but there's no live critiques and things of that nature. That's a sub D.dynamesh class info. Sub D. Yeah, I don't really use Dynamesh that much. For some reason, even though I'm not really concerned with my UVs all that much. I like my topology to be super clean when I jump up and down, so I don't really use Dynamesh, even though I know I can retopo. Something about it, it's just not my thing. But I know a lot of people use it with great success, but just not me. So much the way that I paint illustrations, there's a lot of back and forth in order to get this exactly the way that I want. I know I have limited time. It seems like as soon as I start these things, they're over with. So I might have to talk to these guys about doing 3 hours. But I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do that now. Let's go to basic material. What's happening is I'm getting a speck that's confusing my shadow, and it's too dark. That's better. Matcap white, and let's get the light in a little better place. Oh, it's a matcap, so it's got the light baked in. Forgot about that. So I don't know if you saw last week, but I had issues with drinking water. I've been practicing my water drinking, and I'm fairly certain that I'm going to be able to get it all in my mouth this time, and not all over the desk, because that's how much I care about you guys. Nobody wants to see that. Shade. Let's turn on other stuff. It's yeah, I mean, look how cut those legs look now with some paint in there, man. Look ridiculous. He's all roided out. Oops. Hey, let me know while I have you guys in here. What there's a lot of streamers that have music, just like ambient music playing in the background. And for me, when things get silent, it's kind of weirdly off-putting and kind of, you know, just uncomfortable. So I feel like I have to talk all the time, which is also kind of weird. Let me know if you'd rather have music in the background, because I can figure that out, I guess, and get some get a playlist that isn't going to get kicked off of YouTube for DRM purposes. Okay. Back to my brush. I don't know if you guys have one of these, or I'm sure you've seen it, but this guy definitely is a go-to. Andrew Carr's statue. Where's the camera? There it is. So I use this for everything, in addition to all of my anatomy books and everything. So I'm looking at it as I'm painting these legs. I know I have some of the muscles in there. As I look at it, I'm seeing that there's more sculpting that probably can be done, and for some reason I did not smooth some of this clay spin brush. Let me turn off my, let's turn off the poly paint for a second. Why am I on that layer? Okay, turn off the poly paint. Let's make this white. Let's go to basic material. Yeah, you can see it's, for skin that's fine, these imperfections, but like this is his clothing, so. I was thinking about making some quick UVs for this guy too and adding some surface noise. Do that in here. That's what I did for my Thanos. The UVs weren't great, but they were serviceable. I have friends that are like UV Nazis. They're very particular about, probably a bad analogy, you know, rule 1, don't bring up Nazis of any sort, but they're very particular about their UV stuff, and they're also war criminals, so no, it's terrible joke. But yeah, they're real good at UVs, and they're real, you know, if I do one in ZBrush and not in, you know, a UV application, they kind of go crazy. But for me, I don't care, so I just make them right in ZBrush most of the time. If I have to, I might jump to Maya, but most of the time I'm just doing them in here. Let's see what else is going on. Is this the last stream? No, don't worry about that. I'll be doing this for a long time. The class is on the weekends, so there's no reason why I can't come in here every other week and do this. Don't you sweat that. Hannibal, yes. Ryan Kingsley, dang. Happy for you. Thanks, Attentive Slug. Thank you. There's a piece I'm working on I have a problem with. Would you suggest live or pre-recorded? Live scan of a sculpt that fell apart. Share if you want an idea. Yeah, throw in a link. You can definitely do that. With the eyebrows thick, then having trouble with that. Should eyebrows thick and short or long, or combined sideways and thin? If you are talking Dylan Kill, if you're talking about fiber mesh, you have come to the wrong spot, because I am horrible at fiber mesh. Like really bad. I was watching, who's on this weekend? Crap, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. I was watching a dude this weekend who was streaming, who I asked him to do some fiber mesh tutorial, like a really quick one, and he did. And like, cats make it look easy. I get upset with fiber mesh because I'm so bad at it, and people make it look like, you know, whatever. It's just hair. Boom, done. Look at this. Looks like something out of a magazine. I'm like, I can't do that. So I like to hate on those people frequently, because I'm a very small person, just so you know that. Petty, small man. What else is happening? Can you show that today? Go to the class in Vegas. How much is that statue? Okay, I'm jumping around. It's like the soup Nazi. Yeah, exactly, the soup Nazi. Not the last stream. Nah, don't worry about that. What's up, Hugo? How you doing, man? How do you apply an alpha like you did the scarf? Oh yeah, sure, I can show you that. Just getting worried too with seeing more comments about the final stream. No, come on, you guys. I work remotely. I need this. Are you kidding me? I'd go crazy if I didn't have somebody to show stuff to and talk to who doesn't talk back to me. It's like the perfect relationship. What? Did I say that or think it? Okay. So let's look at the scarf. Something about unpainted basic material is, man, I love it. Like, if I was to have a statue of this guy, I would definitely have just the, you know, the gray resin version, or paint it white or something, because it just looks rich. But let's take a look at the scarf real quick. And I have not applied the surface noise yet, so if we jump down to the lowest level on this, turn off the color, and let's see if I should still have my UVs on here. So UV map, let's morph it. All right, so this is my UV, and I got my, everything that is pink is on the inside, everything that is blue is on the outside. So you see I have some weird topology on the inside, but I don't care. The outside rather is okay. It's pretty good, right? So if we unmorph it, and I did that very simply by taking, if we turn off my surface noise, all I did was I took my ZModeler and did a select polygroup by loop, which is polygroup by polyloop, and oh, I got multiple subdivision levels. You know what? Let's clone this, delete the higher. I think Paul showed me this trick. It's pretty dope. So, come on, guy. Yeah, my, oh, geez. Yeah, so it looks like I did re-topo Z-remesh of this, and it messed it up. But what happened was this was super low res, and all of my loops were continuous. So I just did a selection by polygroup by polyloop, and it selected this, you know, just a ring on the top. Did the same thing on the bottom, selected a ring on the bottom, and then I hid those and did a auto groups, and it separated the inside and the outside for me. So I didn't have to go in and mask, you know, or paint the mask or any of that mess. So I had two separate parts, and then I used that to make my UVs really simply. Then when that was done, I go back to this guy. I just went and applied the noise. So let's jump back up in the subdivision levels. And the noise is like the standard, like herringbone that's in here. This guy, which is behind this. So if we zoom in here, you can see I just selected the alpha and kind of pushed it in, and that gave me this nice clean bandana pattern. So if I wanted this bigger, you know, I could just mess with the scale or whatever, or smaller. I think for a print, which ultimately is what I want to do with this, I wouldn't want to go much smaller than this, and I probably would want to dig in deeper so that it actually shows up in the like the Form 2 print, right? But that is that's how the sausage is made, homie. Go back to leg frame. Oh, that's a different leg. I was thinking about, oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, so I had a version. You know what I'm doing? Totally just forgot about this. So remember I said I wanted to add all those wrinkles and everything to the pants? I did. I had it turned off. So if we turn off solo, that is what his legs are supposed to look like. I got the pockets from the old 80s cartoon. I added like a stitch and this kind of weird cut and sew pattern, which wraps around his leg, which actually is more interesting than the other one. That's why if we go back to the non-pant version, that's just the muscles that are under the leg. That is why I had all of those dips and everything in there, because I didn't care about this mesh. I'm probably going to delete those legs at some point, actually. So again, never do what I do, because it's not smart. There's much smarter ways to work. Okay, I don't want to do that. Let's turn back on the color. Yeah, so luckily I didn't get too deep into the painting on the legs. But I think these pants are better anyway. So let's change the color on these guys. I'm going to do something that's going to make this easier actually. I'm going to fill it with a lighter color. And then I'm going to paint the shadows, and then I can drop the darker unifying color in as an opacity, and I'll be able to see what I'm doing. Oh no, not there. On the pants. Color. Fill. Yeah. So this is going to make it a lot easier to see. I kind of like this blue actually, but I'll make it darker. So now I can paint the legs. I can even isolate them, so it should move much faster. Let's see what else is going on. All right, I missed some comments. You can play your own music. Yeah, you can. Let's see, new to ZBrush, I accidentally changed focus from one subtool to another, but how do I change it back? My camera is now basically focused on the hand when I want to focus on the entire model. If you hit F, you'll frame up the entire model, hoba. And then you can just hold your Alt and click on the model, and or Option on a Mac and click on the model, and then wherever you clicked should be your new focal point. So just enroll to the lifetime access part of the code. Yeah, nice, Joanne, thank you. I have a little something for you. Anyone who signs up for the live session, I have discount codes courtesy of the good folks over at Corel for 25% off of Painter, and I will be using Painter in the course. There's a 30-day free trial, but if you send me a JPEG of your enrollment, then I'll send you the coupon. That's for the live class, not the pre-recorded. But thank you. I can't wait to see you in there. I'm hoping I have some people from in here in the course, because I would love to see what you have going on and talk to you about those things. Yeah, being able to see this, oh my God. So just pro tip, that's what I'm going to do, painting the rest of Bishop. And in fact, I might actually lighten up that other the top part of him, because I can't see the shadows. Like, it's just too dark, right? So if you start with a light base and then add your shadows and then come in with the a darker blue at maybe an opacity of 20% and fill the entire thing, you end up with that, but you know that everything is shaded properly. Let's see what else is going on. Wicked Dimension, good evening to you, sir, or madame. Kyle, I was getting worried, I already saw that. Is this monitor stupid high resolution? Yeah, no, it is. It's ridiculous high. And these eyes aren't what they used to be, so you'll see me doing a whole lot of that. 8 seconds and I'm already amused. Small person. Yeah, I am. I'm very petty for my age. It is not something I'm proud of, but I own that. totally own that. Let's turn that down. I was watching Shane's stream last night actually, and I learned a new technique for Z-remeshing and kind of keeping the topo flow that you want. So you should check out his stream from last night. It was something I'm going to try, and it probably makes more sense to show it as you're talking about it. But just check out Shane's stream, and it's pretty dope. He's working on a face, and instead of using polygrouping and then or Z guides before he used the Z remesher, he made like a deep cut with the damn standard around like the cheeks there, and that's another thing about me. Even though I'm learning anatomy, I don't know any of the terms. So this part of the face right here, that's around the nose, that's what he was working on. Somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's the nasolabial fold on the nose and connected to this thing." I know a lot of guys like that too, and I don't know that, so I hate on them as well. I'm a painter, not a doctor, damn it, Jim. Wow, this is so much easier to see. I should have done this in the first place. What time is it, by the way? 2 o'clock? One more hour? All right. I was wondering why I didn't have any detail on the legs. Now I know. This is what happens when you work on like 12 different models at one time. You forget what you got going on. I'll make this small. I'm going to turn up my intensity. I have my lazy mouse where I want. Let's hit this crease. So line. Okay. All right, that'll work. And then I can hit it with a lighter color on the edge. So you can fake a lot of details in the paint that you may not want to spend your geometry to create. You know what I mean? Depends on if you want to have a massive model or if you want to just, you know, kind of get those details without putting that in there. Maybe not that light. Let's turn it down a bit. Let's see what this is. A little bit lighter. Don't like it. Don't like that. Okay. My RGB intensity is way too high. Yeah, so no spoilers about Cloverfield, but maybe you guys like PM me, and I would love to hear what you thought about the arm, because parallel dimension or not, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I'm like, was that just some comedy relief or what? Somebody tell me. I have a buddy that I went to college with that I still talk to, and we do an in-depth analysis of all the superhero stuff that we watch. So, you know, Flash and all those shows on CW and movies and things like that. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, yo, man, we need to either stream this or do like a podcast, because we'll sit there for 2 hours just breaking down, you know, Black Lightning or whatever the case may be. Like, that would be fun. All right. Now, what's probably going to happen with this, with these pants, is that one of these panels is probably, let's say the inside panel, I'm going to make that a mesh. Because maybe it, you know, there's parts of the pants that will breathe a little better if he's running around all over the place. You know, maybe they move a little better or they breathe a little better. I always think about that stuff as I'm sculpting. Just the little details really kind of sets things off. And I know a few guys that that sculpt for like XM and Prime 1, and I look at their stuff and I'm just like, I didn't even think of that, man. So if you don't know who Daniel Bell is, check out Daniel Bell. He is killing it. And Romel Chopra also. Those guys are doing crazy things. And you know, guys like Joe Mena has been doing it for years, just constantly, consistently killing it. Those guys are the reason. I mean, you know, Romel's a younger dude, so not so much him, only because I just met him last year, but the older guys, you know, Ryan and Joe and you know, those guys are the reason that I even got into ZBrush. But it's great to measure yourself against people who are just the best. You know what I mean? Especially for somebody like me. I work out of my home, so if I didn't do streams like this or look at ArtStation or talk to people on Google Hangouts and look at what they're up to, there's no way I could get any better. You know, like you're in like a bubble, and it's very easy to be around supportive people who are like, oh man, you're the best, that's awesome, you know. Or my kids will come in and look at my stuff. They're teenagers now, so I don't get a whole lot of that you're the best anymore, Dad. It's more like those goth kids from South Park. What's up, Dad? But you know, when they were younger, I was amazing. I was pretty amazing when they were younger. Not now. Like, hey, you guys, I just did this thing for the X-Men Apocalypse thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. When you open ZBrush, what number is your perspective set to? I don't have perspective turned on right now. It is set to the default, I believe, which is, where is it, 50? I think that's the default. So if I turn it on and then turn the dude on here. It's weird, like sometimes I like having perspective on, but if I'm sculpting, I find that more often than not I have it turned off. And I started, I mean, it's not too heavy. I have a friend who keeps his set to 100. And I'm like, dude, how can you work that way? It's crazy. Like, his thing is like looking at some comic book all the time. Yeah, I'm not a big perspective guy. Yeah, cry it. The resolution's high. 4K. Yeah. UV system in ZBrush too. I can't escape. Yeah, right? Man, I stayed away from UVs for the longest time. I didn't even want to know anything about them. But yeah, you can't escape them. Because even for, you know, if you're gonna do statues, you have to if you're gonna use like the surface tools and just to get some, you know, get some texturing on your cloth, you gotta use them. I made them harder than they were. They're not that deep. Not that deep. What else is going on? Pants are nice. Hey, thank you. Yeah, Shane's thing is good. I saw you in there, Slug. Okay, yeah, no worries about the live course. I know that money can be tight. I'm a painter, not a butcher, damn it, Jim. Exactly. Will the class help with this? World sculpt that broke. What does that mean? Oh, he's gone. No, that's Mark that's leaving. All right, peace, man. What happened to it? Oh, you have uni. Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. Teenagers. Yeah. You kids, get out of my yard. So I guess, like, Bishop is what people want to see. I've been asking if folks want me to switch up gears and do something different for a little while. But, heck no, man. Everybody's feeling the B-man. And I think if I get these dreads under control, it's really gonna... people are really gonna dig it. I gotta get some eyebrows though, right? So I can probably fiber mesh eyebrows. I mean, that's one of the less difficult things to do. But somebody said he looked like Bill Nunn, I think, if you guys know who that is, actor, and he doesn't really have. I mean, maybe he has eyebrows, but they're hard to see. That was a dude that was in The Predator. Dark-skinned dude, and yeah, without eyebrows, that's kind of what you get. Somebody needs to do a really good, you know what, I'm gonna ask Paul if he can do it. Somebody has to do like a really good fiber mesh tutorial. And stop making it look like it's not hard, because it is hard. All right, time for the big test. Drum roll. See if I can do this. Oh, I nailed it. No water on my shirt this time. Did I mention I am totally awesome? The best drinker you have ever seen. All right. Yeah, so if you're just coming in here and you're looking at the title of my stream, illustration by way of sculpting, you're probably thinking to yourself that, you know, why is he painting all this stuff in here if it's going to be a 2D thing? And that's because it's going to be a 2D thing and it's going to be a sculpt, or a statue rather. Also, when we take this into Keyshot, which I've gotten requests to show some Keyshot stuff, so maybe next time we'll do a little Keyshottery. But when we bring it into there, we can get, with poly painting, we can get some really nice effects. So if I look at my old, let's pull this up. Let's go back over to Photoshop and open up on the desktop. No, untitled. Nope, not that one. It's this one. Okay. Yeah, this one. So if we open this guy up, you can just see, like, looking at his suit, it's just very flat. You know, it's got shadows in the areas where there are big transitions from the muscles, but for the smaller areas, it just looks very, you know, flat and uninteresting. But his skin, now that we have all that poly paint in there, it just, you know, really jumps off. You know, oops, don't do that. And that arm just looks way better than if it was just a flat brown that was on there. So what I did on this was I used I set up some lights in here, which I'll show them to you. It's kind of what I went over with the tutorial with Ryan, not tutorial but webinar with Ryan last week. Was I set up some lights, right? And they're just primitives. And then when I went into Keyshot, you know, I designated as like a main light, a fill light, and the backlight. So by doing that, I can assign them area light properties. And then when I do my render, I can turn up, say, that backlight and flood the back of them, and you get this really nice, harsh, you know, white light. Or it could be whatever color you want it to be. I did that on the Carnage as well. You know, you just get these really nice, like if you look at his forearm here, this is the money shot right here. You know, like if I was painting this guy, I couldn't just know that that's how that light's going to break around his vein. You know what I mean? Like I could try to figure it out, but I guarantee it's not going to look anywhere near as interesting as this does. So I can now use that as visual information reference for my painting, and that's what I do for, you know, for stuff. So if we go back to let's open up something else. Painting, desktop, client. Let's say all right. So let's use the Corel girl, right? So if we look at this, the way that this light is playing on her jacket, you know, and I think I assigned a material that was kind of like those chameleon colors on paint jobs you see on these, you know, street racer cars. I sounded real old right there. That was some old man stuff right there. I almost cussed. You know the street racer cars that the kids have these days. That was the kind of color. Those chameleon colors. So transition from blue to green. But having that in my Keyshot render, along with, you know, I think I put a Corel sticker on her back, and seeing how the harsh rim light that I set up in that 3-point system, it just made it so that I could, you know, I could see these things and I can paint them. And I even went in on her arm. This was an arm that I kit bashed together out of a whole bunch of stuff that I got from Bad King, and he had like a robot kit bash challenge thing where he took a whole lot of guys' stuff. I got a friend, Jerry Perkins, who did some pieces, and then there's other hard surface guys. But I just took that stuff, kit bashed it together, decided that I wanted to. I watched iRobot like a week ago or before I did this, and I decided I wanted to have some plexi in the front where you could see the, you know, the pistons and stuff are under her arm, and by doing a really rudimentary render, I set this inside piece to a light, and it makes it feel like badass. You know what I mean? Like, these are all things that if I was gonna paint this, I couldn't think of this off the top of my head. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have some kind of reference. So the way I used to do it in the past is, there's a whole lot of talking in this, but this kind of gives you a feel for what you get in my class when you join. This is me telling you 20 years worth of experience of what I've done, and pluses and negatives, and, you know, I used to just kind of cobble together stuff off the internet or magazines and say I want it to look like this thing, and it comes out okay. But this is so much farther ahead by using ZBrush and then Keyshot, and then, you know, using it as reference to paint. Like, you can't beat that, man. It's like a winning combination. So done hyping it up. It's whatever. You'll come or you won't. But no, I hope you come. It's gonna be fun. Oh, I got some early preview free passes for Black Panther. So hyped. I'm so hyped to go, man. The movie is, I guess, for the Washington D.C. area. I got to go drive 2 hours out of my way in rush hour traffic, but I was like, yo, I'm definitely gonna go, and I get to see it, I think, like the day before it comes out. Not a long time, but I just am so amped for this movie, man. This is the movie I've been waiting for since college, and I never thought it would get made. And now that it is, I don't even know how to act, you guys. I'm glad it took this long, too, because Marvel is just like a well-oiled machine right now. What else is going on? Yeah, and the pet, or and Hen Pet, definitely do one. I'd love to see your take on it. Do you use Marvelous Designer in your work? I do sometimes, but I have an issue that actually Shane Olson is trying to, he's helping me figure it out along with Paul, my scaling for my models is all kinds of crazy. So, like I did a Hulk and brought it into Marvelous, and it was like 30 feet tall or something. And then I sculpted this bishop and put it next to the Hulk, and the Hulk is maybe like an inch tall. So I'm all over the place. And if your scaling is bad in Marvelous, it makes it very difficult for the particle distance to be set right, which means that the fabric isn't going to react the way that it should. So I would love to have a template that just starts off and I'm at the right size. I'm sure that there's a plugin that Joe or Paul or somebody can tell me about that will help with that. I know there's Scale Master, but I don't know what the proper scale should be, and I'm pretty terrible at that. So I say all that to tell you this: I've just been sculpting the clothes in here. This is all just hand sculpted. Let's hide this. How are we doing on time? 2:27. Looking good. Yeah, so what I'll do when we do a Keyshot test on this next time is I will have a version that has just a flat polyfill of the color, and then the one with the shadows and not shadows, but the surface painting, and we'll see the difference. I think you're going to be pretty. You'll be on my side of the of history on this one, I think. Also, note to self: eat lunch before I do this, because right now my stomach is making mad noise. Probably should have eaten breakfast. That might have helped. The boot is going to be covering up a lot of these, the legs here, but that's why I didn't even sculpt down this whole thing. Oh, Brandon Isaiah was who I checked out on Saturday, who was doing the fiber mesh stuff. He just did like a quick little tutorial, but he's working on not a game res character, but like a game character that looks amazing. So many people doing crazy stuff in here, man. It's too dark. I went on Instagram yesterday and was checking out. There's this thing where people will repost your image, and they give you credit for it and everything. But it's funny because I think I posted a picture of my my last turtle that I did for Pixelogic last year, and it got some likes or whatever. But one of these people who just posts images from comic books and stuff like that, Marvel movies, reposted it, got like 30 times the likes, some ungodly number of likes, and I was just like, wow, man. And he had my name on there, so I'm like, you would think that I'd give some of that spill back to see more stuff, but somebody commented on it. It was like, I like the artwork, but Michelangelo only has the nunchucks, so I really wish this guy would have done his homework about the weapons. I was like, yeah. I've learned my lesson. I'm not getting in any internet scuffles with anyone. That never works out well for anybody. Tony Gore, I'm looking at you. All right, so this is starting to be what I want it to look like. All right, let's turn off some of this stuff. I don't need everything on here. Turn that off, that off, turn that off. Turn off that rebar and the rock. Turn that off. That off. Okay. All right. I'm gonna make a personal pledge to everyone in here that I'm gonna do these boots next time because they have not been done for so long. It's ridiculous. Let's just fill them with color anyway. All right. Let's turn off the boots again. Turn off the belt. And the bags. No. You know, I really don't need anything except for his pants and his shirt. So let's cut off everything except for those. One day, I mean, Pixelogic is adding so many amazing features to every one of these updates that it's ridiculous. But like one day, they're going to add the ability to make folders for the subtools that you can just turn off the eyeball and all of the things that you want to turn off at once. And people are going to lose their mind. Oh my God! Be like, yo, did you see that we made it so that it does this amazing other thing? You're like, yeah, but did you see they have folders now? There's folders, you guys. So don't worry, these pants aren't going to be this color. Like right now they're looking kind of jeany, like jeans. But once I add a little more shadow to that other leg, I'm going to fill it with a blue that matches the other blue. In fact, let's see something. I'm going to select this blue, turn down my opacity. And let's fill the top part so I can see what I'm doing a little bit. Yeah, so again, I had that shadow in there, right? Let me turn it so you can see what I just did. So I had my shadow in there, and it was fine, right? What did I just do? All right, so go to there. So the shadow's in there and it looks okay, but it's hard to see. And if we went to a flat fill, it's rough, right? But if we take a color like my we take a color like this, lighter blue. God, it's hard to see with that. No, basic color, how about that? Yeah. And then we turn down the opacity and lay it in. This is a lot like when we were doing skin. So by filling it, it starts to, see how those things are tying together now? The shadow and the highlights are all tying together, and it looks less like a polystone statue and more like just a dimensional form that you would see in the real world. And the same thing's going to happen with the pants. So now if I grabbed this darker color, and in fact let's turn it down a little bit, and I started filling the pants, what's going to happen is it's going to tie the shadow area and the rest of it together. So fill. See that? So it's there, it's subtle, but you know, if we did a BPR, let's see what we see. Render. I haven't set any of the, I haven't changed any of the settings, so the BPR is probably not going to be awesome, but let's just see what it looks like here. And I'll read the comments. Caliper master. Yeah, that's probably what I need to use. Whoa, what? What is that? It's not a good look. What's going on with these pants? Something's happening. I might have to reinitialize ZBrush, but when I do a BPR, it just gives me a really weird material. Let's try this one more time with just the pants. Yeah, Slug, that technique that I used on Bishop can be used on literally anything. So a fair-skinned person, dark-skinned person, you know, a blue guy, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Because you got to think about it. What you're really painting is, imagine your skin kind of removed. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of all the blood part and look at just the muscle and the ligaments and everything. The areas where, you know, it's more bone are going to be more yellow. Those shadow areas are going to be like a deeper red, or, you know, because you really want to push it, those blues make sense to recess things in. So like around the eyes and everything, and then the red areas are going to be in the areas that are, you know, have more muscle and you know, a higher, you know, area of like where your blood would be, right? So that's the same, you know, theoretically for anything. So if it's, you know, it's the Hulk, same deal. Doesn't matter what the color is. What's going to matter is when you put your skin tone on, like say you're doing a, you know, a albino dude, or, you know, like some really fair-skinned Caucasian dude, you're gonna, or female, you're gonna lay in, instead of having to worry about the skin color being more of a peach color, you're gonna, you know, lay in some of that, but then you're gonna lay in some grays and low varying opacities, and that's gonna give you. I did this piece. I don't want to show it because it's political, but I did this piece over the weekend. I painted this dude, and I did that technique, and I mean, it works like a charm every time. So, hey, thank you, Burning Snake. Shoulder too. Yeah, no doubt. Black Panther was never popular here in Brazil. Really? Oh wow, I'm way up high on the thing. All right, let me just skip down low. Sorry about that. Folders would be nice. Shift click the eyeball. Okay. Groups for the win, just like in Photoshop. That's right. The start and collapse are kind of like subfolders and folders. They are kind of like that. I want folders and subfolders. Kyle. Have you tried Z-Scene Manager? No. Z-Scene Manager? No, I haven't tried that. Where do I get that plugin? Sapphire. Link for my ArtStation is everything for me is Mike T Artworks. So it's ArtStation / Mike T Artworks, Twitter, Instagram, everything's Mike T Artworks. The only thing where it's not is YouTube, which is Mike T Artwork. So that's where you can find me. Another subtitle. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that was the leg that was showing through. That was giving me that weird. Let's try it again. Basic material. Let's see what happens here. So that Rick and Morty scene, I was working on the some more characters to put in the background, and I noticed yesterday when I was doing BPRs, it was kind of acting up. I haven't restarted my machine in a while. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. This is weird. Oh, maybe something is flipped. Sometimes I see how I have double on here. That's not a good move. Maybe something has the geometry is flipped. I wonder if the no, it's not inverted. What does this look like when I render? Let's see. Oh, thank you for Z-Scene Manager. All right, thanks, man. I'm going to check that out. In fact, I'm going to click in another link so I do not forget. Open a new tab. Yeah. I don't know what is up. Maybe because there's penetration between this and the pants. Let me just hide the legs. Maybe that'll do it. All right, let's see what this does. Drink some water while I'm waiting. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I guess the geo was just too thin and there was penetration. Whoa, I almost messed that one up. I'm hoping that in YouTube there's going to be all these comments about, like, you know, start giving me a numbered score on my drinking abilities. Being able to keep it from shooting all over the screen. Yeah, Pixel copy, exactly. Thanks. Coming for you, Kyle. Get these folders in here, son. I don't care that it can do a million other awesome things. All right. I always talk to Kyle in the Cartman voice because I'm incredibly immature for my age. I'm not going to do that in here, though. All right. Let's get this other one done. It's funny because I've been doing so much poly painting lately that for, you know, for my real job, what I do as a living is an illustrator, and then I have to hop into either Photoshop or Painter, and I'm over there doing key commands from you know, from ZBrush to try to color pick and things like that. It's a little embarrassing. Oops. All right, so maybe for the last couple minutes here, we can pop over into Keyshot and see what these things look like. I still got a bit to do, but show must go on. I guess one of the good things about doing these streams too is I don't ever, like, this is way out of my comfort zone. Like, I don't ever really work fast. Even when I'm, you know, even if I'm working on a piece for a client where I need a ZBrush base, I will, you know, I'll usually maybe just not sculpt it up to this level of detail. You know, I might just use something way less detailed and then have more time to spend on the paint. But this is good, you know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely way faster than I was when I started. Like, ask anybody that I hang out with. Those guys used to make fun of me on the regular. Because everybody is like a speed sculptor. Those guys are all crazy fast. And I am not. Always amazed when I see somebody like Ashley who will concept, kind of design, and sculpt a piece all in a self-contained live session. That's bananas to me. I can't even imagine that. She's like, all right, so the theme for this one's going to be space horses. And then she'll come up with this thing that almost looks like a horse, and then she turns it into this ridiculous, like, amazing other thing. And I'm like, yo, I would just be stuck on sketches for the whole time if that was me doing it. So she's definitely, I don't know, that's some other level business. All right, so what time is it? 51. All right, let's turn on some stuff. Maybe we'll get a shot we can use for the thumbnail for YouTube. So I need the belt, the pockets, the rest of bishop. Ha, red hands. Gloves. Yeah, look how flat those gloves look without paint. It's whack. Red socks. Shoulder pads. Shoulder straps. Cuffs, right? Yeah, cuffs. Let's turn on the hair. And eyeballs. And the boobs. Alright, so now, oh, and let's turn our lights back on. So let's save. Oh my god, I haven't saved for 2 hours. That's like crazy. I'm like definitely living on the edge. I would make a reference to the danger zone, but I don't think anybody's old enough to get that. Okay, let's see what's going on. Hey, thanks, Heretic. Aaron, what's up? Thank you for joining me. Yeah, absolutely. You got a pin display? That's, I mean, doesn't get much better than that. Gruber, what's up? Hey, there's Brendan right there. Hey, man, what's going on, brother? I was just giving you a shout out. All right, let's hop over to Keyshot now. Render. Render. No, I don't want to render here. I want to. Oh, external. There it is. Keyshot. And let's see. What happened to my bridge? Huh. That's weird. Something happened to my Keyshot bridge. It's not working. Alright, so I kind of cut it too close anyway. Oh god, don't crash. Okay, cool. You gonna crash? Don't crash. Oh, it's rendering. Yeah, Brendan, I was talking about the how crappy I am at fiber mesh, and that you kind of helped me out. Primitives, yes, exactly. That's what they are. So these primitives are, I assign lights to them, and then I can get effects like these. So I use it for everything. Same lighting for everything. Always same thing. Yeah, so there's a BPR. So that's not bad, right? The painting in, it's just like when you have a statue. So, you know, painting in those areas on the muscles, even though they're sculpted and there's form there, it just kind of helps to push the planes further apart and give your eye something to really enjoy. This is the basic material, so let's see what it looks like with ZBrush paint. Actually, let's see what Skin Shade 4. Can't remember which one I settled on last time. One of these One of these looked really awesome in Keyshot and looked pretty daggone good in ZBrush. Yeah, those pants are looking kind of flat, but maybe in the render a little better. I'll do, come on. I'm gonna have to reinstall my Keyshot after this. Let's turn off external render. Escape. Okay, let's try it one more time. Any day now. I'm gonna drink some coffee while I wait. Yeah, so next time I'm gonna and even these, like looking at it with it's really good to switch your materials all the time, because in basic material I thought that the paint job on the legs was better than it actually looks with the skin shade. I mean, it's alright though, that's not bad. So maybe let's bring this over here and do like a screen grab. Maybe this is the YouTube little YouTube thumbnail. Previously on X-Men. So I think that's it. It's 2:58 and my time is about out. Again, I'm going to type in one last time in the chat, artistawake.io is the site you can go to if you want to register for my 8-week course with Ryan, and or for Ryan rather. And I will be kind of going over what I do in here, but on a much larger scale, and giving critiques, and we'll work on something from a concept sketch all the way to a finished sculpt with pose, Keyshot render, and illustration in Painter and Photoshop. So the ideal for my class basically is a finished action figure, right? So I always love the box art. I've done box art for a lot of toys, and so what's better than making your own statue but having your package design as well, right? So that's what my class is. And on that, it's 3 o'clock, so I think I'm going to get up out of here, but yeah, or 6 o'clock in Brazil. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks here, or Saturday if you join the 8-week course, right? And I hope to see some of you guys in there. But I'm done plugging. Now I'm going to go get paid and eat, and I'll see you next time. Peace, Juggalo. See you, Hannibal. And Pet, thanks for stepping by. Brendan, thanks, brother. I'm definitely gonna keep watching the process on your guy. He's looking really dope, right? And check out. Let's see what the next stream is. ZBrush Live. I think usually Ashley ends up on my same day as me. Maybe she comes on today. Let's see who's presenting today. Anyone? Presenters, schedule. Sorry. Yeah, Ashley. So check out Ashley at 5 to 9 tonight, and you'll see her make another amazing piece. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Where's the camera? Peace.